This is Gil Robles again. I know it's been a long time since I've posted a video here on YouTube. Um, had some issues with my PC and software and so forth. I'm working on a Mac Mini right now, and I've worked on it before, but still trying to get my PC back because that's where I have the bulk of my software. But just that, some odd jobs here and there. So I had a little bit of a busy schedule, but I'm back and working on another portrait. And of course, for the most part, I am using just a few brushes here, the pencil to start off, and also the synthetic coarse angular brush, which I always use. And also a little bit later on, I'm I started using the smudge web brush as well. Now I like that brush because it allows me to push the color around, just kind of like you push paint around. I mean, when either oils, acrylics, or gouache, when you the kind of paints that take a long to dry, you can still push them around. And so this program with the smudge web brush, it allows me to do that as well. It also allows me, because it smudges it, to smoothen the transitions from one value to another. So for those you don't know, a value is simply the gray or the tone that a color has. And you sometimes, when you transition from one tone to another, it's either a harsh or smooth transition depending on how how clear you want a brush stroke or how clear you want the edge to be. So with the smudge brush, it lets you smoothen stuff out. Um, so anyway, I'll be using those brushes, and also if you see on the toolbar on the upper left, there's a little like grid, or just a bunch of lines. What it is that you can set the different properties of the different brushes that you use. So it's either they give you a bunch of options. It's either size or just a lot of different objects, a lot of different choices rather. So you don't have to settle for the brush as is. You can make a lot of adjustments to it by opening up the properties of any one of these brushes. Now here I'm using the select lasso tool because I've made a mistake and I want to go and correct this mistake. What I think I saw was that the nose area was just a little bit too long. And so I want to kind of, with this, I can either squish it horizontally or vertically. And also what I'm going to want to do is also the reference that I've worked on, the person had a slight tilt to her head. So I want to also get that in there as well. So, and you know what? I can select just the part I want to change and make whatever changes I think would work right with it, and then move it with this tool that allows me to move it, rotate it, squish it, resize it. Have a lot of options there to make the changes that I want to make, so that I'm satisfied with it without having to draw the whole darn thing over again. And see, here's the tilt to her head. Now that also leaves me with a lot of space here in between where I had just cut it away from. So what I do there is I just go ahead and grab the smudge web brush and just push it around until I close up the gap there. And so that fixes up that slight correction that bothered me. I feel the head works a lot better, a lot closer to the reference that I had. And so pretty much everything is just painting it as I've always painted it or always done this type of work, where as you can see, is I keep opening up another layer, and I vary the transparency. If I don't want to change the transparency, I just leave it as is, or I'll just lower the transparency a little bit. That allows me to glaze over the color that's underneath. Like if I don't change the transparency, it remains opaque. But if I make the layer transparent, it glazes over whatever color that's underneath. So suppose the color underneath is red and I want it to make it a little cooler, so I'll add a blue. So what I'll do is I'll open up another layer and change and lower the transparency and just glaze over some blue color over it. And I can keep doing that till I get the desired uh, tone or value or shade that I want. Now that also allows me to work into some of the lighter areas as well, lighten it gradually, and so forth. And then what I do is once I'm finished with a layer, I um, I I just merge with the layer underneath. So then I open up another layer and continue to work on that. That's pretty much how I built all of my paintings in that way. Sketchbook Pro is great for this. There's a whole bunch of programs. Also going to try some other programs and post it on here um, in some future videos. But I mean, I've done Photoshop, I've done Corel Paint, I've done a lot of different programs, and I'm also going to try Mischief. I've done Mischief before. I like that program, and I'm going to try that and bring that in here. Art Rage is another great program. Art Rage actually I like because you know I can simulate a lot of the sketchiness of an oil painting in Sketchbook Pro, but Art Rage really brings forth the texture of the paint and also texture of the paper. There's just so much you can do in it. But the difference in that and this is that with Sketchbook Pro, there's just such an ease of use. It's so easy to find your tools, and you don't need a whole lot, and you don't need to. Um, there's not so much that you need to do. You can make some minor adjustments if you want, or work with the tool as is, and so forth, and just get what you need out of it. But a lot of times with these other programs, it gets a little bit more complicated than that. And I want something that's easy to use, just like if you grabbed a pencil and a paper, and you know what to do with that, you know what to expect from it, and then you just do your work, you know, and that's pretty much what I want out of a digital program is something to simulate that. Now you get a lot of different extras here, like the corrections I've made. You can make that very easily. You got of course undo and so forth, but still it looks kind of fresh and real when it simulates the traditional mediums, to me. And that's according to my taste. That's what I like. That's what I want to see. After all, a lot of times it's like we kind of become artists watching other artists or looking at other artists' work, like Frazetta, or you get into fine art and John Singer Sargent and a bunch of other people, and you know you 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 want something similar as far as the paint quality is concerned, or whatever, or the image is concerned. At the same time, you want to be you. Um, so, I mean, there's something that I love about oil paint, and I would do it more often. I do oil painting, but I would do it more often if I had more space, which I don't. And working digitally helps a lot with it, where there's just not that much to clean up afterwards or to set up. All you got to do is grab your computer, set up your your tablet and so forth, and just start drawing. And that's pretty much what I want to do. Sketchbook makes it easier that way. But there's a lot to these other programs, and it's good to learn them and to add them. This is one of the things I've always liked doing is just adding other mediums to what I do. I've worked in oils, pencils, of course, pen and ink, uh, brush and ink, watercolor, gouache, casing. I've done etchings. I've done a lot of different things because I just enjoy working in other mediums and working digitally. It's kind of funny when people make the argument that this is the future of art, and and doing it any other way is old school. Actually, it's not. It's not old school because you need to know how to draw in order to do digital work, unless you're just doing photo manipulation, which isn't much really. It takes a lot less to do that than it does to actually paint something. And there's also a different look to it. But I mean, if you want to paint and want to do art, and you want to, you want you basically, whether you use digital or traditional tools, it's all the same thing. I'm working pretty much the way I would work if I worked with traditional tools. There's a little, there's again, there's some bells and whistles that go along with a different medium, but every medium is different. And digital medium is the same in that sense, is that you have some benefits from using it. Um, is as different as working in watercolors or working in oils. They're different. They look different. There's some benefits in both. So, and the smudge brush, actually, with the combination of the smudge brush and also with using the different layers and the coarse angular brush, really helped with this the fur, because what happens is that I have to push a lot of that around and pick out what areas I want to emphasize and make crisp, and what areas I want to be blurry so that it can look like fur, which is well, a little bit of a challenge. Well, this is soon to be done. I'm trying not to stay away so long from posting videos, so hopefully I will post another one soon. And in the meantime, I hope this was a lot of fun to watch, or that somehow it can inspire or whatever. Or I certainly enjoy doing these, and I'm always learning. I mean, I'm not Rembrandt, obviously, so it's fun to do these, and it's I kind of like doing these in Sketchbook Pro because it's like just making sketches. Really, it's all I'm pretty much doing, and I'm trying to make it look like an oil sketch, like I always do. So trying to fool the eye into thinking that, hey, is this digital or this traditional? And that's it. That's the finished painting. Like I said, lots of fun to do. And you please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like this, and hopefully put some more videos up here, and also join me on my blog, artinthebusyworld.blogspot.com. Thank you.